Have you ever been in a conversation where someone says, "Hey, remember me?" and your mind suddenly goes blank? You recognize the face, maybe even the voice rings a bell, but that name, it's like it vanished into thin air. And no matter how hard you try to pull it back, it just won't come. If this sounds familiar, please know, you are absolutely not alone. In fact, this happens to so many people, especially after the age of 60. And while it can feel a little embarrassing or even worrisome, forgetting names is often just a natural part of how our memory changes with age. But here's the good news. There are simple, effective ways to improve your recall. Yes, even instantly. And we're going to talk about them today. First, let's take a moment to understand why this happens. Why is it that names of all things seem to be the first to slip away? The reason lies in how our brains store and retrieve information. Names are what scientists call arbitrary labels. Unlike a job title or a personality trait, a name doesn't carry meaning. It's just a tag. And as we age, our brain's ability to retrieve these tags becomes a little less sharp, especially when we're under stress or distracted. But that doesn't mean we're powerless. In fact, one of the best things you can do is be kind to yourself. Beating yourself up for forgetting only adds pressure and makes it even harder to remember. So the first step is take a breath, smile, and remember, it happens to the best of us. Now let's talk about what can help. One of the most powerful tools you have is visualization. It might sound simple, but turning a name into a picture in your mind helps your brain grab onto it more easily. Let's say you meet someone named Lily. You could imagine a beautiful lily flower blooming next to her face. The next time you see her, that image is going to pop into your head before her name does, but it will help lead you to it. Another technique that works wonders is repetition. Not just repeating the name in your head, but saying it out loud. When someone introduces themselves, try using their name naturally in the conversation. "Nice to meet you, John." Then maybe ask a question like, "John, what brings you here today?" Repeating the name 3 or 4 times helps lock it into your short-term memory and gives it a better chance of sticking around in your long-term memory too. Of course, it's not just about tricks. It's also about keeping your brain in shape. Just like your muscles need movement to stay strong, your memory needs gentle challenges to stay sharp. And no, you don't need to do complex puzzles or memorize Shakespeare. Even small daily habits make a difference. Things like telling someone about your day without looking at your notes, recalling what you had for breakfast yesterday, or playing simple memory games on your phone or with a friend. It also helps to slow things down. One of the reasons we forget names is that we're often focused on what we're going to say next, rather than truly listening. Try taking an extra moment during introductions to really look at the person, hear their name, and say it back. That tiny pause can make a big difference. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've tried all of this before, and it still happens. That's okay. Improving memory, just like building strength or flexibility, takes practice and patience. But trust me, every small step you take adds up. Let's talk about something else that plays a surprisingly big role in memory: your sleep. If you're not sleeping well, your brain doesn't get the chance to file away the things you learned during the day, including names. So one of the easiest ways to support your memory is to make sure you're getting enough restful sleep. A quiet bedroom, a calming routine, and staying away from screens at night can help more than you'd think. And finally, Remember, confidence is everything. When we feel uncertain or worried about our memory, we actually increase the chance of forgetting. But when we believe in ourselves, we give our brains the calm space they need to work properly. So the next time you're struggling to recall a name, try saying to yourself, "It'll come to me," instead of, "I always forget." These moments of forgetfulness don't mean you're losing your mind. They mean your brain is just asking for a little extra support. And the truth is, you can give it exactly what it needs with small, doable changes that fit right into your life. So now that we've talked about how names are just labels our brain doesn't easily latch onto, and why slowing down, visualizing, and even getting better sleep can help, let's keep going. Because there are still more things you can do, starting today, that can sharpen your recall and boost your confidence. One of the most underestimated tools for memory, especially name recall, is storytelling. Let's say you meet someone named Frank. Instead of just thinking, "Frank," imagine a quick little story. Frank is the guy who just moved here from Florida, who loves fishing and drinks way too much coffee. That tiny backstory connects the name to a series of details your brain can actually remember. It's not just a label anymore, it's a mini scene. And your mind is much better at holding on to scenes than single words. You don't need to remember every little thing about someone, but just linking their name to one strong visual or one simple fact can make that name stick far more than just hearing it once and hoping it'll come back to you later. It's like hanging a name on a hook. No hook, it slips to the floor. Add a hook, even a tiny one, and suddenly it stays up there. But what if you're not even meeting new people and you're forgetting the names of people you've known for years? That can feel a bit more unsettling, can't it? You see someone you've known forever and suddenly can't pull their name out of your mind. That's when it helps to look at your stress and distractions. See, stress isn't just unpleasant. It actually shuts down the part of your brain that helps with memory retrieval. When you're tense, rushing, or overwhelmed, even just by normal daily life, it's like trying to find something in a filing cabinet while someone is shaking it. So before you panic about a forgotten name, take a breath. Relax your shoulders. Give yourself a moment. You might be surprised how often that name comes floating back once your mind is calm. And you know what else helps a lot more than people think? Talking out loud. That might sound odd, but saying things out loud actually helps reinforce them in your memory. So after a conversation or a meeting, you might quietly say to yourself, "Okay, I met Sarah at the cafe. She had glasses and told me she has 3 grandkids." It doesn't need to be formal. Just say it like you're talking to a friend. That act of retelling, even if it's just to yourself, helps the brain glue the memory together better. Now here's something that might surprise you. Movement helps memory. When you move your body, even something as simple as walking around the house or stretching gently, you stimulate blood flow to your brain. That increased circulation helps wake up the areas that handle memory, including name recall. You don't have to start running marathons. Just a short walk after a social event or a few minutes of stretching in the morning can make a noticeable difference over time. And while we're talking about lifestyle, let's not forget nutrition. Your brain, like the rest of your body, depends on good fuel. Omega-3 fats, which you can find in foods like salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds, have been shown to support brain function. Leafy greens, berries, and even a bit of dark chocolate now and then are great too. No, you don't need to change your whole diet overnight. Just be a little more mindful of giving your brain what it loves. But perhaps one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked tools is humor. Laughter actually reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and boosts dopamine, which is connected to motivation and memory. That means when you're lighthearted, when you can laugh at yourself for forgetting a name, you're actually making it easier to remember the next one. So don't take it too seriously. Make it fun. If you forget someone's name, maybe make a joke and say, "Names are playing hide and seek in my brain today." Not only will it break the tension, it'll make both of you smile, and that moment of laughter might help you remember their name next time. I also want to mention that repetition doesn't have to feel forced. You can gently practice recalling names at the end of your day. Just pause for a moment and think, who did I talk to today? Say the names you remember out loud. Picture their faces. Even if you forget one or two, the act of remembering the rest strengthens your mental muscles. And please, don't compare your memory to what it used to be 20 or 30 years ago. That's not fair to you. Your brain has been storing decades of knowledge, experience, and wisdom. It's natural for some details to slip now and then. What matters most is not perfection, but connection. Being present. Making people feel seen and valued, even if their name takes a little longer to come to you. You're not failing, you're adapting, and you're doing better than you think. So, now that we've talked about turning names into stories, how stress plays a role, and even how movement and laughter can spark memory, let's take one more step forward. You might be wondering, what about brain games? Do they actually help? The answer is yes, but with a little twist. Games like crossword puzzles, memory matching apps, or even learning a few phrases in a new language can help stimulate your brain. But here's the secret. It only works if it challenges you just enough. If the game is too easy, or you're just going through the motions, your brain isn't really stretching. So if you're doing a crossword, choose one that makes you think a little harder. If you like word games, switch it up sometimes. Let your brain feel like it's exploring, not just coasting. Now here's a small daily habit that packs a big punch. Practice active attention. It might sound fancy, but it's actually very simple. When you meet someone, instead of thinking about what you're going to say next or what's happening around you, give that person your full attention for just a few seconds. Really look at their face. Listen to how they say their name. Repeat it back right away. "Nice to meet you, Mark." That repetition plus focus gives your brain a better chance to hold on to the name. Most of us think we're forgetting because we're getting older, but often it's just that we weren't really paying close attention to begin with. And that's not a flaw. That's just life being busy, loud, and full of distractions. But you can train your brain to slow down for just a moment and take in what matters. Another gentle way to boost name recall is through mindfulness. And no, you don't need to sit cross-legged on a mat or meditate for hours. Mindfulness can be as simple as taking a deep breath before walking into a room, setting an intention like, "I want to remember the people I meet today," and being present in the moment. A calm, focused brain is a much better memory keeper than a scattered, rushed one. You might be thinking, "That all sounds great, but I still worry when I forget." That's completely natural. But here's the truth. Forgetting names now and then doesn't mean your memory is failing. It means you're human. You've lived a rich, full life with countless memories, experiences, people, and details stored inside you. Some of those names may fade for a moment, but the heart of who you are, the kindness, the curiosity, the wisdom, none of that disappears. What helps most is creating small daily habits that support your memory, not big changes, just tiny tweaks. Maybe you keep a little notebook where you jot down the names of people you meet, or maybe you talk to a friend each night about who you saw that day. Maybe you play a 5-minute memory game after breakfast, or repeat names out loud as you drive. These little actions add up. They're like watering a plant. One drop doesn't do much, but steady, gentle care, that's what helps things grow. And let's not forget how powerful human connection is in all of this. Names are about people. When you make a deeper connection with someone, not just a quick hi, but a real moment of kindness or laughter, that name has a stronger place to live in your memory. You're not just trying to remember names, you're building relationships. You're staying socially active, mentally engaged, and emotionally fulfilled. And that, more than any app or game, is what keeps your brain vibrant. Now, if you've been feeling discouraged about your memory, I want to leave you with this. You are not alone. Millions of people feel the same way. But instead of worrying, take this as a sign that your brain is still learning, still growing, and still capable of amazing things. You've remembered so much in your life. People you've loved, places you've been, stories you've told 100 times over. Forgetting a name once in a while doesn't erase any of that. What you can do, starting today, is be kind to your mind. Give it the rest it needs. Feed it with good thoughts, nourishing food, and a little movement. Give it moments of joy and curiosity. And remember, the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to stay connected, to keep learning, and to live each day with intention. If you found any of this helpful, or if you have your own tricks for remembering names, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. Sharing your story might help someone else feel less alone. And if you're enjoying this kind of content, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more helpful, heartwarming tips coming your way. You're never too old to grow, to laugh, or to remember what really matters. Here's to living your best life at every age.